Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here. And well, today Dead by Daylight gave us another glimpse into content that's under construction. This time it looks to be about the prestige system and how they're reworking that and the grind reduction. They told us during the anniversary stream that they had plans for this. I made a video about that. I'll link that at the end if you want to go back and look at what they talked about with the prestige system revamping here. But they gave us this tweet that says, "Out with the old, in with the new," and the little construction sign here again. Stay tuned, more info coming later this week. So after the tweet that we had about the 39 perks that are changing, and now this one with the prestige system changing, I think that we're getting pretty close to a public test build where we're gonna be able to test all of these changes that are most likely coming out in the next mid-chapter. I'm very excited to see that the prestige system's coming out now, because before they had said that this would happen this summer, which could have been as late as September. So if we're actually going to get the revamped prestige system sooner rather than later, that's amazing. So they gave us these three screenshots here, and this one shows Dwight. It just says work in progress here. And I think what's happened is Dwight has reached level 50 here, and as it stands right now, you have the option to either prestige or get another level 50 bloodweb over and over and over again. So I think what's going to happen now is you are going to just see bloodwebs stop at level 50 and force you to prestige. There's really no reason not to prestige anymore, because you aren't going to lose anything anymore. Now remember, this isn't active yet, so don't do it yet. You have to wait for the system to come in. But once this system comes in, there's no reason to have continuous infinite level 50 bloodwebs. You might as well prestige. So I think what this is showing is that Dwight has achieved maximum level 50, and now the next thing for him to do is to prestige level 1. And it shows you here at the top that Dwight has these shareable perks with his bond, prove thyself, and leader. And once you prestige, it will unlock these perks for all of the characters if they don't have them already. A lot of people were upset, wondering if they were going to lose perks that they already own. I'm confident that any perks that you own already will not be lost. If they're on your character now, you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't have them on your character, all the other survivors would get these three perks at tier 1 just by Dwight prestiging, which is an amazing system, because then you're not going to have to look for them on your bloodweb. You're not going to have to buy them on your bloodweb. You're just going to get gifted them by prestiging. That's the first slide here. Then the next one they show us is level 4, which they told us that you would be able to infinitely prestige your character now. It won't stop at prestige 3. They did say that if you prestige 3 before this system comes in, you're going to get some kind of a distinct reward for having done so. We don't know what that is. We've been told that it is not a cosmetic item. That's all that we know, but we don't know what it is. So this is showing me here that the Huntress is prestige 3 already, because you can see her shared perks are all tier 3, which means she has been hit prestige 3 and given her tier 3 perks to all the other killers for free just by reaching prestige 3. And now she's moved on to prestige 4. Again, there's no reason not to continue to prestige after you hit level 50 on every level of prestige. You might as well just keep on going, because you aren't going to lose any of your items, offerings, etc. I know a lot of people are waiting for this system to come in because they have a lot of souvenir items from events in the past, and they don't want to lose those. And people have asked me, do I think they should prestige before or after the system? And that depends on how much work you've put into the character. Obviously, if you prestige now, you will lose those unique items that you have from past events. So that's something to consider if you prestige before this system comes in. Also know that there will be a prestige catch-up mechanic, that if you have put a lot of work into a specific character, then they will just grandfather you a couple levels of prestige. So if you have like nearly every perk on your character already, you're probably going to get given prestige 3, but you'll miss out on whatever this distinct reward is. Again, we don't know what that is if you hit prestige 3 before this system is implemented. So this is showing that you'll be able to go on to prestige 4 and beyond through this. And they had told us that you would be able to show your bragging rights to your other people in your games because it's going to display this level. And this shows you here that they have the levels displayed on the scoreboard, what prestige level these other players are: 8, 6, 5, 7, and 7. A couple of interesting things on this scoreboard slide. I will note that every single perk on here, with the exception, I believe, Quick and Quiet, every single perk on here is part of the 39 that they told us they were overhauling for the perk overhaul thing. So it looks like they were testing that. And I would say, well, if they're testing how all of these reworked perks are working, is there also a rework for the twins coming? I mean, it could just be a coincidence. You have to pick some killer, but it might be a clue that there's a twins rework coming. Don't know about that. And also, this name here is very curious. It says Maurice Lives is the name of the player. Does Maurice live? I'm not so sure. Not so sure about that. Maurice the horse, gobbled up by the dredge. Justice for Maurice. Okay, so these are the 3 slides that we have. Now, I saw a forums post by one of my friends, Emil, on the Dead by Daylight forums, talking about the visibility of having these prestige levels in the shown in the end of the game and how they feel about it. And I'm going to read it to you. I'll tell you what I think about it, and you let me know what you think, because I'm very interested to know what you think about the visibility of these rankings. So here's Emil's post on the forums. I'll just read it through it really quickly. Behavior: please do not go through with showing prestige level on the end game scoring screen. Today, Behavior released some work in progress on the prestige system and changes to the end game screen as well. They showed this. So the work in progress is to put a prestige level icon at the left end of the score screen for each character, showing all what prestige level you have gotten your character to, as well as the character's name. Now, I believe icon flexing is just an outright bad practice for games. I'm an old school gamer, and I rather want a more tangible reward for my gaming. I'm not interested in pretty icons unless they have a benefit. I'm not a fan of bragging rights shown off to other players through icons. If these went through, I would 1, ignore them, and 2, wish I could not see them, and 3, play the game. But that's my opinion, dude. Then why is there a problem? Well, this change is bad for the game, the same way as grades were an issue with skill-based matchmaking. You remember we had rank there, and then we had grades there, and we got them removed for a time because when matchmaking became addressed by the skill-based matchmaking system, because they clearly shape our opinion of if we think a match has been fairly matched, being an indication of enemy time investment. This is true. Like, you see a lot of people who you constantly see these posts on Twitter that are like, why am I being matched against these ranks? And then when it became grades, even though people didn't understand that grades didn't mean anything for skill level, they said, why am I being matched against these grades? So now I think that Emil is right, is you're probably going to see people complain about why am I being matched against these prestige levels, which again, it doesn't have anything to do with skill. It just talks about a time investment in game. But people are going to point to it that say that matchmaking was unfair. So this is a problem. This always comes up in posts about this game. You show an image of 4 red ranks versus 1 brown rank killer. Grades did the same thing. Wow, red grades, this matchmaking is so bad. And yes, I know, we all know that matchmaking isn't based on rank or grade or soon prestige level. But the point is, all these systems are indicators of time spent, and that is why those particular complaints will stay with the game until behavior removes such indicators. People will say, wow, why am I getting matched up with prestige 10s? This matchmaking is unfair. Now, matchmaking, of course, needs to be shaped up and fair. We have behaviors promise that they will do their best. But even I feel that ignorance is bliss, and I have been with you since 2017. When you have difficulty seeing a difference, you pay more attention to the game and how fair or unfair they felt. And I have seen hundreds of complaints about this game's matchmaking, showing an image with unequal icons called bad matchmaking, and this is bad for the game because DBD's matchmaking should be judged by the matchmaking skill of the player to succeed the goals, not an unequal distribution of icons of perceived time investment. I really agree with email here. You see that all the time, that people are showing ranks and complaining about it, so and grades and complaining about the matchmaking, but it doesn't really have anything to do with skill. It's more of a factor of how much time someone has played the game. So, but people just seem to forget that. This is becoming a block of text. I'm sorry, but I really implore you, behavior. You have a chance here to change a bad tradition to force people to judge your matchmaking system more honestly on what happens in the game and not on the icons after the match. And isn't that what we all want? Good and improved matchmaking based on the games. You may say unfair complaints about our game isn't an issue. People are going to have dishonest assumptions anyway. But my response would be it's unhealthy to implement things that lead them astray and don't give them an excuse. The main complaint I see is in all these pictures is when there's an indication of unequal time investment. That indication is the problem. Because even though we know time spent is a poor indicator of game skill, our brain and subconscious won't accept that, so we need to fizzle that excuse as soon as possible. Thank you for taking my feedback. Here's my constructive suggestion for what you could put on the post-game scoreboard instead. I used your excellent adept icons instead of new prestige icons, which would allow easy identification of name and character in-game for most games, that is. I really would love to see the adept icons here, and even this is just killer power, but they should just make a killer icon of their face for Trickster here, to just so that we know who is who in the game. Because once you play the game, sometimes you don't remember the names in game, but you know what character they played, so it would be more helpful to know to match the face with the name in the game. And I understand that they want to have some kind of a bragging rights thing, and I don't know that this would solve it. It might still have the problem that Emil is talking about here, that they want to have some kind of a distinct reward that other people can see in game. I would say maybe you could have a different colored background behind the icon if it was somebody who hit Prestige 3 already. So like instead of this yellowy brown background behind Ace or Claudette or Jeff, you could just have a red background for somebody who hit Prestige 3. And then, yeah, you'd be like, well, that person is like Legacy Prestige. They hit Prestige 3 a long time ago or something. But I don't think it would be as detrimental as seeing these numbers here. And also, like with these numbers, so if you're somebody who plays the same character all the time and you don't play anybody else, you're just going to keep pouring your points into that player. So you might be, if you're an Adam Francis main, you'll be like Prestige level 20 Adam, which will be glaring. But somebody like me, who has up to this point spread their prestige out across all the characters, I wouldn't be doing that, like prestiging one character. So my numbers would lag behind Prestige level 20 Adams because I'm putting points into everybody, so maybe all my characters would be Prestige level 5. So, you know what I mean? Like, does it... Will people still look at that as a reflection of skill? Like, they'll go, wow, Prestige level 20 Adam, why don't you go outside and touch some grass? This is the kind of stuff you see all the time when people can look at someone's Steam hours and they go, you have 8,000 hours in game, go touch grass. These are the kind of things that you see in post-game chat. And I'm not sure that these prestige numbers being visible are going to quell that kind of toxic chat that you see post-game. Anyway, what do you think about the scoreboard and having these prestige numbers visible? Will you be able to look beyond it and realize that this doesn't have anything to do with the matchmaking? Or will you feel like if people have higher prestige numbers than you, the game wasn't fair? I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Anyway, we're going to find out more about this entire system later this week. So we'll see what goes on. Hopefully they'll give us some little clue about what the distinct reward will be for prestiging before this happens, because I think we all want to know what we're facing here, gaining or losing, if we decide to sit on our hands and not prestige beforehand, or if we push to prestige beforehand, what are we going to get? But that's all I have for you today. Thanks so very much for watching. As always, I appreciate the time that you spend here with me on my channel. And don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life